Hey guys, welcome to the video. This one I'll be showing you how to remove the power module of an Arrma 3S vehicle. Now the first thing you're going to do is remove the body. On this I'm using a Arrma Vendetta, but you can do it with any 3S model. This ESC might be different for your 3S model, but it doesn't matter. First thing you're going to do is remove the drive shaft. The easiest way for me is to pull it back here, lift it up, and separate this end from the other end. You pull this, and then you can put the shaft back together and set it aside. The next thing you're going to do is use a 2.5mm hex bit, flip over the car, and then remove this bolt right here. And set as that, you will use a flathead screwdriver or something to pry, and carefully pry this apart, this red piece here. Next thing you're going to do is pull this part up right here. You can use your fingers or a driver, it doesn't matter. And you're going to pull this out while prying that up. Once it is slightly loose, you will then pull these cables out from here, just like that, see, no longer in there, and then disconnect them. Set those aside for now. Now you're going to completely remove the module as it slides out just like that. Now that you have the module out, say you want to change the speed gear. So go ahead and pull these 3 screws out here. Once these are all loosened, you can slide this apart and then pull out the slipper clutch. That exposes the pinion gear and the motor mount screws. Now since I already have the high speed gear on here without the C-clip on there because it was a pain to get back on, I'm going to go ahead and be putting the stock gear back on because I'm no longer doing speed runs. What you're going to do is remove this screw here and that screw there. Once these 2 screws are slightly loosened on this side, you'll take your 2mm hex and remove this screw right here. Then you can pull this plastic piece off. Use a L-shape 2mm hex and remove your pinion. Once the grub screw is loosened and the C-clip is removed, this should slide right off, and that exposes just the screws. Now once the pinion is off, you can fully loosen these so the motor has room to move around on the plate. Here is the stock pinion I will be putting back on. It has a 20 tooth compared to a 26 tooth over there. You will slide it on just like this. Use your 2mm L wrench, and the only reason I say to use these is because they are not used very often compared to your regular wrenches, like your MIP drivers, so they're probably in better shape, and they just have a tighter fit in the grub screw. Once that is tightened down, you can slide the slipper clutch back in, just to make sure that it's set at the correct height. And just to confirm it is, then you go ahead and tighten the grub screw all the way down. Don't do it too tight so you strip it. Also, make sure there is Loctite on the inside of this grub screw, but not too much. Once that is screwed in, you can now take this slipper clutch here, then you can slide it close to the motor. Now after running for a while, I did build up a little bit of debris inside these screw holes here, so I ended up taking them out and cleaning it out. So now this motor plate should move a little more freely. Now you're going to set your gear mesh between the spur gear and the pinion gear. Now in order to set the gear mesh properly, you're going to have a tiny bit of play in the spur, but not too much to where it's loose. As you can see, I can move the spur just a little bit here, but not enough for where it's too much play. Now, what you're going to do is remove that, place the plastic piece back in, and put the screw back in. Again, don't tighten those too tight, it is going into aluminum, and I would use Loctite if I were you. Once the spur and plastic piece are replaced, make sure your gear mesh is properly set again, and tighten down these 2 motor screws. After tightening the first one, check your mesh, and tighten down the second one. Okay, once your mesh is properly set, replace the top cover, Check your spur gear, make sure that it's just enough play. And then finally, use the hand screwdriver. Okay, now that your power module is fully assembled again, bring the car back into play. Make sure the area is clear. As you can see, I just wiped out this area, that area, and this one right here. And then you can go ahead and slide the module back in. Now this process may be a little tricky on dirty or older vehicles, just because of the way the plastic is molded. As you can see, it was relatively easy for me. Go ahead and replace these cables. Go ahead and replace this plastic piece here. Flip the car over. And then go ahead and replace this screw here. Once that screw is replaced, now you want to put back your drive shaft. Go ahead and put the front end first. Slide the bearing to where it needs to be. Put the bearing in. Slide the drive shaft back and reinsert it. Once it's on, you're good. And you're set.